This is interesting. I was just saying. Example 4. Now let me read through it first. Okay. Jackson, example 4 says Sheila invests part of $6,000, not all of it. She's got $6,000 she's going to invest, but she invests part of it at 6% interest, and the rest at 11% interest. Okay. Her total annual income from the investments, how much money is she making from the interest? Her total annual income from these investments is $460. Okay? How much is invested at 6%? And how much, Jimba, is invested at 11%? Okay? Now think about this. Let me ask you this. What if I had $100 and I invested 6%? I'm sorry, I invested it at 6%. How much money would I make? I'd make $6. How do you find that amount? How do I find out what percent of a number is? Multiply by 0.06, right, Ruben? Yeah. Okay, so Ruben says take 100, multiply by 0.06. Okay. So how do I find out how much money she made at 6%? How can I represent how much? If I said that she invests X amount at 6%, right? How much does she invest at 11%? It's not going to give me a number. How do I represent that number? Right? X at 6%. How much at 11%, Troy? 6,000 minus X, right? What's left? Take away the X and what's left? At 11%. Does everybody see that's the two amounts? This is what I invested at 6%, and this is what I invested at 11%. Now, how do I find out how much money I made on the 6%? How do I do that? How do I find out what 6% of a number is? Chris, how do I find out what 6% of a number is?
Can you divide, like...
Of in math means what, Benny? It means multiply. 6% of a number means 0.06 times X tells me how much money I make at 6%. How do I find out how much money I make at 11%? I want to see some different hands. Jimba. At 11%. 0.11 times what, Hugh? 6,000 minus X. Right? Because this is how much I invested at 11%. This is how much I invested at 6%. To find out what it is, I just multiply them. Well, wait a minute. What do I get if I add these two things together? How much money should I get, CB? I should get $460. Beautiful, CB. Thank you. Okay. This is the amount I made at 6%. This is the amount I made at 11%. When I add the two amounts together, they told me I made $460. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? Where that's coming from, guys? I need you to get down the percent, how I find a percent of a number. If I want to find a percent of a number, I just multiply the number by the percent. But remember, I can't use percent, so I have to change it to decimal. So this is 6% times the amount that I put in. And this is 11% times what was left over. The other amount of money. Okay? All right, well, let's see. You guys don't have to multiply to get rid of those decimals, right? You've got calculators. Just figure it out. This is 0.06x, 0.06x plus, what's 0.11 times 6,000? Plus 660 minus 0.11x is equal to 460. Okay? Now what? What do I do next? CB? Combine like terms. This and that. When I put those two things together, raise your hand, what do I get? Will?